In 2022, I took a writing course centered on the topic of technology and the future. I chose to write about artificial intelligence, researching the history of automation, and connecting it to my understanding of technology. College didn't give much additional insight into the speed and direction of advancement, but rather why we were moving so quickly. Literacy can be developed on YouTube and the internet. These resources act as a time capsule that contextualizes the rapid rate of change and are a crystal ball into the future. It's good if they become less useful to you over time. They might be a good starting point, as no one really knows how fast the wheels are turning.
I got that, dog. Lightning in a bottle. Blip.
That's crazy, son. Where'd you get that?
Some old Chinese man sold it to me years ago.
Man, that's some supernatural shit, man.
Nah, man. All it does is this. I got it. But seriously, man, would it be like an app that reminds you when your favorite television shows are on?
No! We gotta address this crazy-ass bottle that you got!
What bottle?
What bottle? The bottle with the lightning in it.
You still on that?
Yes. How does it work?
Cedric, I don't know. It's the classic lightning in the bottle guy.
Classic.
You just open it up.
Okay, you know what? You shouldn't have this. This shit belongs to the military or something.
But that app, though.
No, we don't need the app. You've got the goose that laid the golden egg.
How do you know about honkers?
What? This
Honkers, get in on this app idea. You like it? He likes it.
Yeah, he got a goddamn golden egg.
Why are these reactors taking so much longer to master than the ones we've been using for more than half a century? Well, producing energy from nuclear fusion rather than nuclear fission, which is what most traditional reactors do, is a lot more difficult.
Instead of splitting atoms apart, fusion reactors force them together in a controlled way that causes huge amounts of energy to be released. It's essentially what happens inside the sun, when hydrogen nuclei collide at extreme speeds and temperatures to form helium atoms.
Now, amazingly,
The core structure of any game can be broken down to the sum of its parts. The C++ programming language, which most games are written in, organizes logic gates on the central processing unit. The rest of the elements of the game, as well as the components, are linked to it. While they are largely powered by the same CMOS technology, they hold no responsibility for the events that are happening in the game, but rather to move, intake, and simulate information in a given environment.
Action!
Actually, it's Otto and Lorne Chumley.
Lorne Chumley himself?
Not exactly. You forget he's the man with a million faces.
That's Lorne Chumley?
Wrong again.
That's Lorne Chumley.
Not again.
So that's Lorne Chumley.
You miss again. Ouch! Sorry about that. I guess it finally is Lorne Chumley.
Wow.
You can keep getting lower and lower, but these days it's much easier to ignore, as most of it is neatly packaged together in languages and toolchains. Claude Shannon is described as the father of the digital age. In 1949, he published a highly influential paper entitled Programming a Computer for Playing Chess. This laid the groundwork for the games we enjoy and the technology that we have today. Like how experience, exercising, or aim training can help your mechanics, programming enhances your ability to index information across different games.
You're too fast. Do you believe that my being stronger or faster has anything to do with my muscles in this place?
It also allows you to better navigate computer programs and tools across different industries. This is difficult to do in an environment that discourages development. Linus Torvalds created the Linux kernel in 1991, and 20,000 people have made contributions to it since then. The open source project is performant and highly customizable. There's a reason why Linux dominates the modern age. Its best-in-class stability gives you a new perspective on timing windows, as well as a slightly better understanding of game logic and muscle memory. Proton alongside Wine is a compatibility layer developed by Valve and Codeweavers. It translates DirectX into Vulkan alongside a combination of other methods. Alongside the Linux kernel, games perform well on portable hardware. As you can imagine, this scales much more on a desktop computer. The source code and system components that make up GNU Linux enable your thinking process. If you build up an understanding, you'll gain invaluable knowledge about computer programs and a foundation for other languages.
Programming, what I like to do, because I don't like a structured learning environment for programming, I give myself a project. And if you're trying to make something, you're like, okay, I want to make a calculator. I want to make a small video game, whatever it's going to be. And you don't have to learn the whole language. You just learn the pieces that you need, right? The things you actually need. That's how we learn stuff. Don't take on the whole language like, oh God, right? You learn what you need to use it for. You learn the components that you need as you go. And you're like, well, I'm stuck now. What do I do? And you learn that piece and you go forward. You naturally end up learning the language as a result of this. It's a great way to do it. Really great way to do it. That's how I learned everything. I'm self-taught. And the way that I was self-taught was by doing that.
The real danger of tutorials isn't that you're going to be exposed to something you've never seen before or a way of thinking, but the problem is anytime someone creates a tutorial, they go through and they start making something, and it inevitably breaks. So they go forward and they do a different way of doing it, and it breaks, and then they do another way, and then that one breaks. And then at the final time, maybe the fourth or fifth iteration, they have this nice, shiny tutorial that looks super, super nice. All the learning happened here. All the tutorial happens here. Tutorials often aren't great to learn from for this exact reason, because learning does not happen when everything goes right. Learning happens when everything goes wrong and you figure it out. One of the best things a teacher ever told me was this: when you're programming, take extra care looking at your errors and remember them, because it is the errors that are going to make you a good programmer. Being able to see an error and deduce what caused the error will make you grow as a programmer faster than almost any other technical skill out there. And the reason is that a lot of people, when they see an error, there's this weird feeling of butterflies or like, oh shit, in their stomach. They don't know how to solve it. But if you take extra care and remember the things that have gone wrong, you will be able to course correct so fast.
And we can soften it a lot, such that people who are not already trained wizards in XML systems can come in and get the hello world dopamine hit. To me, that there's so much that is just bound up in that. Can you do a thing and then see a thing? If you can get into that loop, you're well on the way to become a programmer. But far too many environments, certainly at the time, and I argue still so, we've recreated some of that madness, especially in the JavaScript world, where it had to be difficult. There is a sheer joy in the act of programming with Ruby. I hadn't felt that. I hadn't seen that in any other programming language. And in the early days, I thought this is totally unique to Ruby. Like, this is a property of Ruby. This is how Ruby makes programmers feel like they are superheroes in this way, and therefore everyone should use Ruby. And I spent quite a few years earnestly trying to persuade as many people as I possibly could that they should all use Ruby all the time for everything, certainly within web development. And it took me a little longer to figure out, do you know what? That feeling I have to Ruby, other people have to other languages. And that is the lion's share of the superpower. But the larger chunk of it is helping programmers find that experience I found with Ruby. And you know what? If they find that in PHP, or if they find it in Python and if they find it in Elixir, whatever, wonderful. I'm so happy for you. That is really the main progression point.
Python is a great start as a general-purpose programming language, with the batteries included philosophy. There are many examples and libraries to model your ideas after. Contrary to popular belief, proficiency in these concepts aren't necessary in becoming efficient.